I want to talk about pain and avoidance of pain. I feel like it's quite a nice continuation from the previous video of talking about fear and uncertainty. I feel that avoiding pain has become one of the main things that governs our behaviour and has almost become an underlying motivator that governs the things that we do. I've definitely found this in my experience. As someone who's suffered from anxiety and depression for a very long time, I've definitely found solace in avoiding my pain. I felt that that was the only thing that I could do to truly cope. I wound up cutting out actually any joy or anything from my life through fear of stimulating my pain. I've come to learn that the only way for true freedom is to actually confront and deal with your inner pain. Now, this is something that is a very difficult thing to do. It's not easy. It's something that your mind actually really doesn't want you to do. In fact, that's probably why you even have a subconscious mind at all. It's so that your fears and your pains are almost sheltered. You've closed around them so that you don't disturb them. So let's think about physical pain versus psychological pain. So if you think about it, physical pain is only really there when something is actually happening to your body physiologically. If you're doing something that physically hurts you, you obviously pull away from it instinctively. Similarly, with psychological pain, you have the same level of instincts. You don't want to have discomfort or disturbance. So your mind actually pulls away from the disturbance. I feel like the main difference between physical pain and psychological pain is that with physical pain, it's only really there when something is physiologically causing you harm. The thing with psychological pain is that it's always there in one form or another. It's just hidden in intricate layers. So on a surface level, your pain manifests in quite a lot of disturbance and discomfort, and you don't really realize where it's coming from. So whenever you feel insecurity, anger, embarrassment, jealousy, frustration, these are all linked in some way to a core pain that you have. So this core pain will likely have a bunch of layers attached to it. On the surface layer, it appears as those emotions that I just described. But on a deeper sense, it's actually touching upon something that you're trying to avoid. So for example, if you have low self-esteem or fears of rejection or failure, you want to be accepted by the outside world. It affects how you dress, your weight, your outward appearance, how you present yourself to the world. If any of these things are criticized, you'll actually find yourself feeling the very pain that you were actually initially trying to avoid in the first place. It's then that you actually are focusing on the layers of the pain, the upper layers, almost the surface level. So you're beginning to focus on those layers rather than the actual core pain itself. You're actually kind of protecting that core pain. You don't want to disturb it. You're actually doing everything in your power to avoid even going there. I've come to realize that all forms of addiction are a way of avoiding your core pain and issues. So from using hard drugs and alcohol, overusage of social media like Instagram or Facebook, video gaming too much, even binge watching Netflix, we begin to actually do these things compulsively as a way of avoiding our pain. As I mentioned before and in previous videos, I got to a state where I was in a complete and utter perpetual avoidance state. I was so fearful of experiencing my pain that I did everything in my power to fully disengage with absolutely anything that could trigger it. I've been living my whole life trying to avoid this sense of pain, trying to avoid the feelings of low self-esteem, trying to avoid the feelings of feeling rejection and failure. Let me tell you from first-hand experience that focusing your whole life on trying to avoid feeling pain is no fun for anyone. It's no fun for you, definitely. It's no fun for your loved ones and those that are close to you. I've pushed a lot of people away that I didn't mean to. It was just my own insecurity. It's my own fear. I got to a point where I would just cut off friends and family, not intentionally. I just couldn't face presenting myself when I had such deep insecurities. Engaging with life, engaging with the world, in a way was putting up a mirror to who I was and what I didn't like about myself. Avoiding doing those things in some unconscious way was me trying to alleviate that feeling of pain. But that isn't really solving anything. It's just causing you to sit with your pain. You're holding on to it, but you're not letting anything get close that might disturb it. And that's the thing with life. You can't control the outside circumstances. Things will always come up that disturbs you. It's about accepting those things. It's about not running away from those things. It's about confronting those things and dealing with them. So resisting your pain, resisting the core pain, the layers and behaviors that result from that, it's only going to exacerbate the pain, and it forces you to engage in behaviors that actually try and avoid the pain altogether. You'll actually see that your mind begins to rationalize this avoidance of the pain. It starts to build up walls. You start to become defensive in order for you to not actually feel it. So we've seen what pain and avoiding pain can do, what behaviors of avoidance it could lead to, the levels of disturbance we feel when any outside threat puts into questions the way that we are and the way that we deal with things. So I believe that the key is to not run away from your pain, to not avoid your pain, and to not be afraid of your pain, but rather to accept your pain as a part of your life. All it is just another thing that's part of you that will float on by. You don't have to sit there with it. It will pass. Feelings of insecurity, anger, embarrassment, jealousy, frustration, these are all normal human feelings. Don't resist them. Allow them to be. Allow them to exist within you. The only way of dealing with these core issues is to not be so protective over them, but to actually be open, to allow them to be hit, but to understand that it will pass, and to understand that there's more to life than your pain. In this way, I think that pain can truly be used as a source of your true inner freedom. There are other things than pain that you can access. There are other behaviors that you can exhibit. That doesn't mean that you have to try and avoid your pain all the time. Instead of going to the gym or dieting to try and appease that pain, to feel accepted or validated, you can do those things for the actual joy of doing them, instead of actually doing it to not feel bad, or avoiding guilt, or avoiding fear. This is something that I've truly come to learn over the past several months, and it's something that I keep trying to tell myself daily in some way or another, and it has been helping me. I feel like my eyes have truly been open to something that I definitely want to keep open to for the rest of my life. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and yeah, hopefully see you soon.